lectures. And before we get started, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my supporters, everyone for supporting my channel. You know, June of this year, my channel will be 4 years old, and none of this would be possible without all of my supporters. So with that being said, let's get on down to today's lecture. You know, the focus of this lecture is going to be, I'm going to present some information on tips to coming up with YouTube topics, some tips in coming up with YouTube topics. And I use all of these tips as a content creator. And one good powerful tip is that helps me is I spend time sometimes going back and listening to some of my own content, some of my own videos. Just listen through it. You can really learn a lot by listening to yourself presenting your topics. You know, it helps you hone in on your presentation skills. When you listening to some of your prior videos, it also, for me, it gives me ideas on new topics based on what I may have said in that particular lecture or that video. You know, things that sometimes sound different. So a lot of times when I'm spending time just listening to some of my own videos, it'll give me fresh ideas for a new topic. Another tip and strategy for coming up with YouTube topics, and I've been doing this for several months, is to do relational topics, do lectures or content on relational topics. I've done several relational topics surrounding my book title, Awake Financial Freedom. I presented information on my contractual agreement with Page Publishing, my contractual agreement with Audiobook Network. I've done lectures on the process that I went through to get my manuscript accepted by both world-renowned publishing companies. And I got another relational live stream lecture coming up in June where I'm literally going to present information on Audiobook Network or entertaining the idea of converting my published work into a screenplay. So, you know, relational topics is the way to go. It's endless, you know, especially if you have gone through the door. Another way and another strategy to come up with tips for YouTube topics is take a break, refresh your mind, you know, have that balance, you know how to deplug. You know, a lot of times when I'm deplugging my mind, ain't on nothing about no YouTube topic, anything about being a content creator. So when I'm taking that break and deplugging, you know, ideas are just sometimes pop in my head, and I just write it down on a piece of paper and revisit it at a later date. Because if I don't write that idea down, I'm not going to remember it. Sometimes I can be driving and an idea will come in my mind about a YouTube topic. I just jot it down on a piece of paper and keep it moving. So, and those ideas seem to come more when I'm just deplugging, taking a break, and etc. Another tip and strategy in terms of coming up with topics is get outside, get some sun, go on nature walks. So that ties into that balance again. When you're far removed from YouTube as a content creator, you know, you can be outside working out, taking a nature walk, exercising or whatever, and an idea just pop in your head. Something about getting that sun or that sunshine or just bring ideas into my head, and I just jot it down. Another tip and strategy in terms of coming up with YouTube topics is so important for me, and that I do, is keep your YouTube channel in enjoyable mode. You know, if it's beginning to feel like a chore or you're forcing yourself to do things as a content creator, you know, it helps when you keep it in enjoyable mode. You know, create your topics for you versus the masses. When you're doing it for yourself, when you're internally driven, when you're keeping it in enjoyable mode, I'm telling you, that has a positive impact on coming up with fresh ideas versus trying to be so driven with analytics and coming up with topics that you think the masses want to listen to. No, do it for yourself. Be internally driven, because if a person is, they're gonna make a decision on their own on whether or not they're gaining something from your channel. But when you're internally driven and you're focused on your goals and objective of your channel versus being driven by analytics and driven by the masses, because when you start being driven, this is Marie Holiday talking, when you start being driven by the masses and driven by analytics, that's pulling you away from that enjoyment mode and etc. So keep the channel in enjoyable mode. You know, this is a powerful tip and it has an impact on coming up with new topics. I've used all these tips and strategies since the birth of my YouTube channel, you know, and I'm telling you, it's power when you are creating your content for you, when you're internally driven, you're keeping that balance. You ain't focusing on nobody else's channel. You ain't focusing on no search engine optimization. When you are internally driven, guided by the spirit and doing it for yourself, I'm telling you, everything else will fall in place. So share this information. Somebody may need to hear it. And don't forget, mark your calendar. I believe I'm saying June 12th. Mark your calendar or check my community wall. But I'm going to do another relational live stream lecture. I'm going to present information on the process that must occur if for published work to be transformed into a screenplay. So if you want to find out what that process is, tune in. I believe the first or second Saturday in June, starting at 11 o'clock. Check my community wall. I'm going to be ready to get down to business. That's all I have. Simple Fidelity, and I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.